Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today. Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
And me, Banshee. First off, let me just say, Blessed Beltane, Happy Beltane, everybody. Happy May Day, Happy May 1st, however you celebrate.
Happy May Day in Beltane. Oh, thank you, Bly.
And now for the unhappy news. It's our unhappy hour show.
Welcome. When the fourth quarter phase begins, we do this reading.
We do this reading so we can help turn all those frowns upside down.
So we do this with our reading. It's with the deck that's called... You going to show it? Whoops. Am I going to show it?
I guess I'll... The This Might Hurt Tarot. It might hurt, but it might not.
Okay, enough of
Maybe
that.
It's just what you need to hear.
Well, the contours of the reading is that it is for the elemental signs of the Zodiac, as well as one at the end that is for the world, what's hurting the world right now. And we go through 4 positions, basically asking, what is it that will be making us unhappy right now? How are we dealing with this unhappiness? Why are our feelings justified? And how can we turn the frown upside down?
All right. Well, I'm having problems shuffling on the surface. Funny that. All right, that's better. Here you go, Mr. Oh, it's not better. Here you go, Mr. O. This is just not good for me.
And another thing that's unique about this reading is, of course, that no matter how the cards fall, we will always interpret them from their reversed position.
Correct. It's always read in reverse. But hey, as we all remember, not all reverse cards are bad cards necessarily.
And basically, what we tune into is what those bad feelings are and what are the best solutions, even if those sometimes may bring a little bit of, concern too. And I see our friend has arrived.
Uh-oh. You cannot come up here, Sonny. For goodness sakes.
Forgot to close the door, didn't we?
We did. And that could be a problem. Well.
Okay, so air signs are first. Air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius.
And Aquarians. So the first position is, what is or will be making you unhappy right now? Well, it's the 4 of Cups reversed. It could be a couple of things here. I think air signs. First, it could be that you maybe missed out on an opportunity. You're finally waking from some doldrums or just feeling a bit not overwhelmed, but uninspired. And so you might have missed out on some opportunity that could have made things better for you. And it could be making you unhappy. But also, maybe the other aspect of this is, Mr. O, I wonder if you were going to touch on this, is that maybe you just simply don't have time to take on an opportunity that's happening right now. And that's very disappointing to you because some opportunities only come around once.
Well, another way that I would look at it, and I agree with all the possibilities you suggested there, is that, what if you are not the choice? What if you are not the choice that's sort of indicated there, and that maybe that's part of the feeling? That's kind of a minor feeling compared to the other ways, but it just sort of hit me that, this is another possibility too, that if somebody's choosing and maybe you weren't chosen, that, and you thought you were going to be, well, that's bumming your world.
Absolutely. It's another way of losing out on an opportunity. So what's card 2, Mr. O?
Card 2. How are you dealing with this, or how will you be dealing with this unhappiness?
You'll be blaming the fates. It's the Wheel of Fortune. You'll be blaming, just bad timing. You may be kind of in a little bit of denial here. Perhaps this is karma catching up with you. Perhaps you weren't prepared for this opportunity. Perhaps you weren't chosen because you weren't prepared. And so I think here this is kind of a little bit of a state of denial going on here. That you're just going to say, oh, well,
Well, maybe it's possible
Not my
too that
fault.
you feel like, yeah, your karma's bitch, to put it mildly. Like maybe you that's how you're dealing with this, is by realizing that somehow karma in this regard
Stay
has
there.
played you a
Stay.
losing hand. And so you may be deciding that, oh, well, it's just me, so it's a pity party for me. This may or may not be really what you need to do, but it does seem with the, idea of how you would be dealing with this. All right, card 3. Why are your feelings justified then, if they are?
I think they are.
And it's the star reversed.
Yeah, it's made you gloomy.
Well, you've lost hope. You've lost the idea that maybe something good will happen here. And so you've lost hope, and you no longer feel like a positive destiny is for you. And it could be tied into the idea of how you're dealing with it, too.
I see what you're doing,
just
but
deciding that karma sucks.
we have more room here, so maybe that.
Well,
Okay.
but there's a 4th card, dear.
Oh, drat.
I do what I do because I know what I do.
Okay.
Don't worry, I was doing it this way and then you changed it. But
Seems like, that other screen's a little too big. But anyway.
it's not that. It's the camera.
Oh.
See?
Oh.
There's just barely room for that 4th one.
So well, I want to add to this that I feel here that maybe you felt, that you missed an opportunity that could have changed your destiny. So that's how, you're
like
feeling right now. And, and it is justified. So how can you turn that frown upside down? It's the High Priestess.
Get real.
Reversed. Well, get real, yes. Maybe be better prepared. But also maybe not ignoring your gut instincts, too, that might have been trying to tell you this is what you need to do. And you ignored it, and the opportunity, poof.
Well, the reason I said get real is because the 2 cards before sort of showed like
that.
You falling into this idea like it was destiny and it was karma and it was just your turn. And get real means like, hey, sometimes mundane things happen and it's not some great spiritual reason why it happened.
Correct.
You have to just, as Banshee says, go with your gut feeling, try to make the best of it, and get real here, because that's probably what is demanded when you think about it from the beginning to the end, shall we?
Yes, shall we? So go ahead with card 1, Mr. O.
Okay, so the idea that, what is making you unhappy, in my opinion, was a lot of what Banshee said, which I'll let her say, but also the idea, too, that if there are choices involved, maybe you are feeling like you were not chosen.
You were not chosen, or the opportunity passed you by, or you were too distracted. You weren't detached from what was going on around you, and you missed out. And so how are you dealing with this situation, or will be? Well, you're going to blame fate a lot. You're going to say, oh, it's just bad timing. And maybe there's a truth there. But maybe it's also because it's your karma. You were not prepared properly for this opportunity.
So, card 3, why are your feelings justified? Because you really lost a lot of hope here. You really could physically see that maybe the destiny you thought was coming was not coming, and so you feel this way. You
feel like you may have missed out on something that could have transformed your life for the better, and so now you're really disappointed.
But that takes us to the final card.
So that takes us to how you can, in the future, turn that frown upside down. Is listen to your gut more, and also, as Mr. O said, Be real about it, you know?
And look at that crescent moon there. It's almost like a smile or a frown.
Ah, that's right. In a sense, this is turning it upside down. But you know, the thing is, just be real about it next time, you know, and accept the fact that, hey, if this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, what the heck are you doing not paying attention to that or letting that pass you by?
There you go.
So,
can't disagree with that.
Be real. Good luck with that.
We're going to let Banshee play with Bly.
While we go to the fire signs. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. This reading's for us. Where does it hurt?
Oh, no!
Come on, Bly.
Tell us how you really feel.
Bly says, I'm glad I'm not a living person. No. Bly's here to tell us the future looks bright.
I got our shades! Oh, Bly, you're so entertaining.
Oh, the surface is so much better.
Yes, live the fantasy.
Ah. It's still better. Okay. That was a much better shuffle.
Then.
It's slightly different.
Okay, play him. Play him.
All right, we got the Four of Cups reversed.
Again.
Wow, you know, this is a time where
Fire
maybe
sign, you're like the air signs.
we're all sleeping on the job here.
You feel like
fire signs too. You might miss out on something that could benefit you or your life in some way. Could shake you out of the doldrums. Could be a new fresh start for you.
I agree.
Or solve some pending issues.
So how are we going to be dealing with this, fire signs?
Oh, well, it's the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Well, you know what? In typical fire sign fashion, we like to blame fate for what goes wrong. How could it be us, right?
Exactly. But it's the same as the air signs in a sense of feeling like maybe somehow karmically this was meant to happen and that maybe it was your time to have the bad luck.
Wow.
Whether that's true or not.
Whether that's true or not.
So.
How can you turn that frown up?
No, it's number 3.
Sorry.
Why are our feelings justified?
I'm all rattled now, Mr. O. It's the Ten of Pentacles.
And it's reversed. So are your feelings justified because you feel like something that you rely on, your foundation, you know, your sort of sense of, you know, family resources or home, feels disconnected or feels like there's problems amiss? I
think your feelings are justified because you felt that this could have solved some either one of two things. Just some long-range problems, you know, or some problems long-term. This could have maybe just put them to rest, gotten rid of them long-term, or it could have solved your financial situation and put you on better solid ground long-term. But clearly, you know, because you missed out, things are not looking as bright now for you financially as they might have had you taken this opportunity on.
So then, how will you turn that frown upside down?
Well, it's the Five of Wands. You know what? Fire signs, this is so us. We're not going to hold on to a losing proposition here. We're just going to let it go and move on. I mean, I think here, if it's something that is draining us, it is something that has stressed us out. And I mean, in a sense, there's really no going back. The opportunity has passed us by. It's time to just not get all stressed out over it. It's time to move on.
I wouldn't say it exactly that way. I mean, I think mostly it's that way, but I think there's also the underlying feeling like there's nothing more to gain here. You're not going to be able to change minds or hearts, and so you should indeed strike out on your own.
Yeah, right, exactly. You're not going to be able to get people to change their minds or to reopen this opportunity for you if there are other people involved,
Right.
which could very well be indicated by that card and even this card a little bit.
They would be
10.
antagonistic.
Yeah.
I think
So
is what it shows. So
just
looking
kiss
at
it
it over again,
goodbye.
it's very similar in a way, to what happened. You're feeling like you missed an opportunity or you weren't chosen for a particular thing you thought you would be.
It's really interesting. 2 cards the same
Mm-hmm.
in the same positions and then 2 different cards. It's kind of interesting.
Alrighty.
It's just meant to be. All right, well, good luck to the fire signs. Oh, we're going to recap it, though, aren't we?
I just did number 1.
You did number 1.
Are you
I'm
adding
sorry.
anything?
I sure am.
Mm-hmm.
Just, this is something that maybe you took your eye off of and you allowed it to pass you by. And it's kind of one of those woulda, coulda, shoulda moments, where you just are rethinking yourself and wondering, why did I do that? This could have, I'm going to the next card, have transformed my life for the better. And now I'm kind of stuck. I'm kind of stagnating on the wheel here and down on my luck.
Well, in fact, how you're dealing with this is feeling like you don't have a chance to recover. You sort of feel like you're in a bad spiral here.
They're in a downward spiral. The wheel.
So are those feelings justified? Well, it's the 10 of Pentacles, and I sort of thought that maybe this felt like you're losing something that you can rely upon, something that's resource for you or foundation for you, or just a sense of solidarity or union with people or resources that you felt you could count on.
And I sort of thought this would have maybe solved some problems for the long haul, that they would be no more. This opportunity could have helped you get through some situation and maybe not have to revisit it again. But also financially, it might have been a long-term financial solution for you that is now is no longer available. And there's no turning back on that, I think, really, between these 2 cards here. It's kind of like whatever, if there were backers, if there were people who would have employed you, whatever the case may be, that opportunity is gone, and it's just time to walk away.
Yeah, you don't feel that anyone's going to stop quibbling or whatever it is, and so you're just going to move on.
It's not worth fighting for at this point.
Exactly.
So good luck with that fire sign.
So we are onto the water signs then.
Hey, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces.
You go first.
Oh, okay.
I did last time, even though I didn't get to cut.
Well, I can lay dead here.
Lie. Tell her to let me cut.
I'm going to try to mix them up, but you're cutting, so let's see what you get this time.
Try. Excuse me.
Where does it hurt, fellow Scorpios? Not that I'm a Scorpio, but I live with one.
It's bound to rub off.
And all you other water signs.
Yes, we will smother you and make you just... Well, you can get us hot.
I, of course, can.
We'll blow off that steam.
I'll just drown you out.
No, we're the water sign. We drown you out.
Darn it.
You know I'm right.
I don't think I have a lot of water in my chart yet.
And yet here you are.
Yeah, here I am. I know I have earth. I know I have air. I know I have fire.
I will let you perfect the cut. No, maybe I won't.
Why don't you go ahead?
No, I'm kidding.
If it's the same card, I hold no blame.
I know. Ah! Almost.
Well, this puts a little different, how shall I say, spin on
water
things.
Signs. What's making
Too
you
bad
unhappy
our faces
right now?
weren't showing. Let me show that again. Okay. It's the Wheel of Fortune again, reversed, but this time in the first position. So this is what's hurting you right now. You're sensing a bad turn of luck. You're feeling down on your luck. You feel as though the fates have turned against you. Oh, it's always the fates, isn't it, Mr. O? You know, and that you are on a downward spiral.
Well, this isn't about our feelings. That's actually position 2, how we're dealing with it.
Well,
And
I know,
so,
but that's what's making.
I'm talking.
Wait a minute. You're making it sound like I didn't address that, and I did.
It's my turn.
That is what is hurting you now.
I'm going to snip this out on the editing floor.
No, you're not.
Want to bet?
I'll put it back in again in a minute.
Okay. So, unlike the fire signs and the air signs who are feeling there's bad luck here that justifies, you're feeling this way, this is about you saying, water signs, it's actually happening. It is what is making you unhappy right now is the fact that there's bad luck around, there's bad cycles.
So I'm going to reiterate what I said earlier. Where does it hurt? It hurts because you feel you're on a downward spiral right now, that you're not at the right place at the right time. Everything seems to be off, and you're having a difficult time dealing with that.
Card 2. How are we dealing with this?
It's the Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Wands is, of course, reversed.
How are we dealing with this?
How are you?
Okay, fine. Well, we're probably taking some brash moves, maybe born out of a little bit of fear. We maybe feel that if we try to puff up our bravery, we can just sort of power through these things, but this may not work out for us either. We may get our bluff called, or we may be overexerting, over trying to compensate.
Instead of allowing it to depress you, it's making you more angry. And it's making you more aggressive. A lot of times water signs have problems dealing with their emotions. And I feel here that, it's as if you just, I like what Mr. O said about try too hard. I think that you might be pushing yourself too hard, or you're pushing others too hard.
Card 3. Well then, why are our feelings justified no matter how other signs may look at us? And it's the 3 of Wands reversed.
Well,
why are our feelings justified? Because we know we missed this opportunity, and we know we still have to move on despite that.
Well, I don't know if it's an opportunity, like a specific opportunity, or you're just feeling like luck is against you in almost everything you're doing. See, I'm almost getting a post-Mercury retrograde feel off of this, in that it just seems like nothing is going right. And so here, this is causing you to kind of hold back on your plans. This is kind of making you pull back. Your feelings are justified because you feel you have to put some things off now because of this.
Fine. So then,
how can Mr. O turn that frown upside down?
Kill them all. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's kill the bad memories. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Is that 6 of Cups?
This is 6 of Cups reversed. Instead of just dwelling on this, I know, and also thinking that maybe something from your past is to blame, maybe you just need to deal with the reality as it is and let go of the past. You can't bring the past back. You can bring it up as much as you want, but you can't bring the past back, and so let it go.
Let it go indeed seems to be the order of the day here, that maybe you can't really make other people feel the same way as you, try as you might. And, that is something that water emotional signs do try to do. They try to convince people that their feelings are the ones that others should feel too, but it's not always true. And so sometimes you have to just let it go. Water signs, let it go.
Let it go. Well, I mean, and live in the now. I think what this final card is saying is that, all right, you have to deal with this here and now. So maybe luck has been bad. Luck has been not on your side. But don't fall into, don't try to recreate a better, happier days from your past. Deal with what's happening now.
Well, in our recap, though, it sort of seems to show that a lot of this is for the water signs, too much thinking about the past as it affects now and the inability to resolve some of that.
Okay, so starting here again, it looks as though, luck is not on your side. We all have times like this where it just seems like everything is working against us, but you're not taking it very well. This is what's going on. You realize you're in a downward spiral right now, and it's making you unhappy.
You like things being more predictable, and when they're not,
Like that.
it hurts.
Nice. And so, how are you dealing with this? Maybe you're taking it out on others. Maybe you're being a little bit too aggressive and pushy, and maybe you're pushing yourself too hard. Maybe you need to lighten it up a little bit.
Something in your brashness and overcompensating negates, your more basic feelings for people, and so people are going to remember that you were a little bit rude to them. So you have to try to be better.
Build back better.
Oh, God, do I know that.
All right. So, are your feelings justified? Yes, because you feel you've had to put some things on the back burner now. You can't attend to them right now because you fear, maybe it's more fear than anything. You're fearing that because of what's going on here, you won't be successful, or it won't be fun, it won't be worthwhile. So it's time to put it aside till conditions improve.
Yes, they're justified because you missed an opportunity, and you still have to try to catch up.
And how can you turn that frown upside down? Well, not by using things, not by either thinking or doing things that, haven't served you that well in the past. Maybe they have in the past, but this is the present. You have to deal with what's going on now. And also, you shouldn't be hiding in the past. You shouldn't be retreating and saying, well, things were better, blah, blah, and I should just do things the same way. It doesn't always work that way, and it's not very healthy. You have to deal with the here and now. Let go.
The past is over, and you really do need to move on. There's no more to say.
You're moving on out.
All right, so finally we are on the earth signs, our last elemental sign for this reading, but not the end of the reading.
Yes, the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. This reading's for you. Let's see where it hurts, and then we'll do our special world reading. This is where I really have to give Bly a big squeeze.
It's okay, Bly.
To get me through.
The world's going to get
Bly's okay. It's me that's not.
Oh. So every single elemental sign prior to now got the Wheel of Fortune.
Yes. Very interesting.
Will the earth signs also get the Wheel of Fortune?
Or one of the other cards in that first reading.
But if it was the wheel, that would be 4 for 4.
I know. So we had a three-peat. I'm going to give it an extra shuffle this time. And we'll see if the fourth time's the charm. I'm sure people would mind not seeing the Wheel of Fortune in their reading. Right, earth signs? Here, I'll let you cut, or take the cut, and start us off.
All right, card 1. What will be making the earth signs unhappy right now?
Ooh.
Oh,
no. Maybe you want that wheel.
There may be some problem in our emotional landscapes. There may be problems with a relationship or with a particular sense of relationships that maybe we're just not feeling people's care and harmony with us. That something seems to be alienating us if not from the one that we really care for, from some people in general.
There's a lack of harmony in your social sector. And, when I say the social sector, it could include your colleagues and your peers at work, or, students at school. This could be something that affects relationships of any sort. Even a family tie, maybe a fight with a sibling, a separation between lovers. It's not a happy card, and it's certainly not making you feel very happy.
How will the earth signs be dealing with it? And it's the reverse Knight of Swords.
Oh. There's a bit of anger with the Knight of Swords, but also there's more carelessness, recklessness.
Again, yes.
So I get the feeling here, and it is a sword card, so I would say that you're not dealing with this well. You might be creating an even worse situation because you're speaking with your emotion and you're not using your logic. You're obviously upset. And so, you're saying things that maybe should best be left unsaid, especially if you want to mend this situation. But of course, if you feel it's over and done with, well, you're lashing out, and I'm not sure that's a very good thing either. And it might be that somebody might be, what? Now that I'm thinking about it, because of this position, how you're dealing with it, you could be doing that, but somebody could also be doing this to you.
Well, the thing
right?
I wonder about is that whether you or someone else is rushing to judgments or rushing to solutions. So, of course, if it's not going to, to some, the idea of ghosting in a relationship is a passive, non-aggressive or passive-aggressive way of kind of doing those kind of things too. So it could be, just behaviors that are off-putting.
Now, part of some of that is a very good point here, because maybe how you're dealing with this is you're hoping to find some sort of quick fix here. But because you're so emotionally wrapped into this that it's hard, you really need to think it through more. It's not going to work if you don't think it through more.
So why are your feelings justified, Earth signs? And it's the reversed Ace of Swords.
You almost feel like whatever the situation is about, that you feel defeated. You feel like you've been brought down by this. That your feelings are justified in that you feel like maybe you invested a lot of time, effort, or love into something, and it's come undone.
I almost wonder if this was maybe more about some sort of specific kind of relationship.
Yeah.
But certainly what it does feel like is that you feel like something that you thought was really starting and was going somewhere great has now failed that test, or will not come to pass in that manner.
And your feelings, I'm going to say they're probably justified, but there's a little wiggle room here in that when I see the Ace of Swords reversed in this position, I'm wondering how clearly you're really analyzing it at this time. I think, you're very taken aback by what happened here, and so you're trying to move fast to fix it, and you may not be thinking very clearly or logically about how this all happened and developed this way to begin with.
Well then, is it possible? How will you turn that frown upside down?
No.
It's your party, and you can cry if you want to.
Wow, yes, this is so emotional.
It's the Three of Cups reversed.
Shall we just say we have 2 cup cards here, which is emotions, and we have 2 sword cards here, which is challenges, right?
Yeah.
So clearly this is an emotionally challenging month for some of you Earth signs. And I would say this with the 3 of Cups here, the only way you're going to be successful, well, one of the best ways to be successful in turning this frown upside down is really examining this relationship, and perhaps maybe even some of your other relationships. It's possible here this may involve more than one person. It's possible. And so I would say here, well, I wonder here too if it could be a cheat and a deception in a relationship. I can't rule that out. So what this is saying is examine your relationships and determine whether they are healthy for you or unhealthy for you. And if they're unhealthy for you, you really need to move on instead of trying to quick fix it.
Well, there isn't a super active principle in that card for me like that, but I think it's very inferred then, the idea that you have to look at what is going on in your emotional sphere there, what is causing unhappiness, and especially as it fits with maybe a group of friends or a group of people who are generally associated. There may be something really that's off-putting. It may be the original factor. That's what it kind of seems like. Maybe something just didn't go the way you want, and now there's, some bitterness here. And so you may have to decide to move on again in a way.
I can't help but think that card is also saying that maybe there was, I know it's in the position of how to turn the frown upside down, but maybe there's a realization here that there were other people influencing this situation. And, so clearly you may have to do some house cleaning, with your friends or associates.
Interesting.
I don't know. It is a very tough reading. It's challenging for you.
Yeah.
Earth signs, and it's not necessarily for all the earth signs, but some of you I think are going to get hit hard in the emotional department. Shall we?
All right.
So that first card looks like some kind of rift, some kind of lack of harmony between people that work together, live together, love each other, are comrades with each other. It just seems as though there's a major argument or a breakup. Something big has happened, and it's
a significant downturn in a relationship. It could be a fatal one, or it could be something that you're just suffering a bit with at the time.
You're just trying to do damage control here. You're trying to, figure out what you need to do to make this, to just let it go away. Make the bad stuff go away and get back to where you were. But I feel here, that may be the wrong approach. And also moving too quickly without thinking or saying things to others without thinking is only going to make matters worse.
What she said, I can't disagree. So then card 3, why are your feelings justified? There may be this realization that something is not going to finish, something that really had a sense of promise, or something that really seemed to be important to think of as a significant goal, and now it doesn't look likely, and you're feeling, really scorched by that in a way.
Yeah, this just seems like something that you thought was just a great achievement or victory in your life, something that you thought was there for you, maybe more long term, you clearly feel has been, you've spent a lot of time, energy, or love on something that is no longer to be relied upon. At least that's, why you feel you're justified. And ultimately, it just seems as though, there could be other factors. There could be other people involved here. So I guess, to turn that frown upside down, it occurs to me here that if you can take away or eliminate any outside influences that are making the situation work and deal one-on-one, with the person involved, you can determine once and for all how to move forward on this.
That's a nice take there. That this could be saying really that to some degree you can't deal with this necessarily as a gestalt or group kind of situation, that you might have to do the work you need to do with the elements separately. And so this could be, having, different interactions with different people based on that.
Or it's possible, like I said here, you really have to examine, this whole process, the way you can turn your frown upside down, is this whole process might have opened your eyes to the kinds of people you are working with or associating with, and if they're really healthy for you. So that's it. All right, we're going to go on to our world prediction now as to where does it hurt in the world. Hold by. What the world needs now is Bly. Okay, Mr. O. I will. You didn't hold Bly.
I had him for a little while.
Okay. It's that Bly third eye. Thinks I'm crazy. Okay. So the first card is going to be what is or will be making the world unhappy right now.
Well, dang, if that doesn't fit. The world's unhappy because it can't change. It just seems to be stuck with some really bad stuff. And, you know, the typical meaning of the death card reversed really does talk to world global situation. It talks about political inertia. It talks about stagnation at a massive
negotiation
level.
Inertia, all of that. And, you know, I feel here, you know, I usually don't use the D word with the death card, but it is reversed. It's a world reading, and I can't help but wonder if some death or some event, you know, and this could be even a natural disaster. It does not have to be, you know, man-made. However, when we look at the situation in Gaza and all the deaths and things being investigated there right now from the Israeli side of the conflict, it's
troubling.
And then when we also look at, you know, this inability to come to terms to get the hostages back, to get a ceasefire going, all of that. When we look in the U.S., the stagnation, you know, and the protests on college campuses right now, you know, it's stopping a lot of the normal university functions of this time of year. And, you know, they're not about to budge until they see some results or some changes being made, the protesters. So it seems like a very stagnant situation as well. And of course, there's Ukraine.
Right. Card 2. How are we dealing, or how will we be dealing with this unhappiness? The Emperor reversed.
See, that's what I'm wondering here. You know,
I know, because they kind of play well together,
They do. And I think here that the Emperor reversed is somebody who is a bullying, despotic leader of some sort. I'm wondering if this is involving that. And frankly, I don't want to ruffle feathers, but I do consider Netanyahu in that class. I do consider Putin in that class. I do consider, you know, some of the people, other world leaders that are going on right now in some of these countries in that class. Some of the issues, even in some of the Islamic countries, with their treatment of women or the treatment of their people in Iran right now. A lot of suppression on artists and you know, people in cultural you know, professions. So there's just some real, how should I say, bad leadership going on, and also forceful leadership, forcing their will.
The Emperor reversed is sort of like a perfect analog for the Emperor has no clothes. And it's the idea that maybe those who should normally inform the Emperor, the leader, whoever, of what kind of things they have to take into consideration, gives them good advice. They're being ignored, or they're not even being considered at all. This is saying that we are finding a situation where people just really don't really know what to do. I mean, this is talking about us.
I see that too. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. You should have maybe stopped me sooner.
Well, it sort of hit me just now too, in a way.
I see what he's saying here is like, we feel whatever this is about, which is, again, it could be natural calamity. It could be, the warring factions doing something, behaving very badly. We feel we have little control over what's going on. And when you think of the protesters too, they're doing what they're doing because they feel they have no control over what our government's doing. They vote for politicians who are going against what they believe. And, I see that.
Card 3, why are our feelings justified? Well, nobody's listening. People just want to be aggressive. Our feelings are justified because we want to find peaceful solutions, but people only want to use aggressive and assertive solutions.
Right. For example, in the case of the protest movement, they're using force to eliminate the protesters. They're using threats of suspension, school suspension, and stuff like that in prison. And I think here, they're using and so the feelings are justified. I wonder if this isn't about the protests. I wonder if something big is going to happen there. But also, in a worldly sense, this could just be that people are tired of being boxed into a corner, being bullied by people, by leaders who are exerting too much dominance and control.
As befits the idea that this is a reading for the world, those are all major arcana.
Yes, wow. So are we going to have a fourth major arcana? How do we turn this frown upside down? Did we? No, we did not.
It's the reversed 5 of Pentacles.
Oh,
and,
wow.
well, gosh, that's certainly, a good card to end.
It means that we have to come together. Everybody needs a place at the table. Voices want to be heard, right? We kind of got that here when we talked about the protest movement and, people being sick and tired of, despotic rules in their country, etc. People want to be heard. People want to also heal. They want peace, they want harmony, and they want a place at the table where everybody can be heard and felt.
The 5 of Pentacles is sort of, applied in the world sense, the idea of consensus, of people finding what are the commonalities that can help us bring things to a better, union.
And to realize that we have the ability to come together. I think, too, we really have more in common with one another than our differences. Now, I would have to say this. If there is some sort of natural catastrophe that may happen somewhere that could affect the world in some way or maybe more than one area, this looks like a healing process from that, too. That there will be a recovery, there will be, and people will work towards that. And we've talked about this before sometimes, and you hate to say it this way, but sometimes it takes some natural disaster, catastrophe to get people to be kind to one another, to work together to rebuild.
A singularity.
Yeah. I don't want to say that's what's happening here, but,
no.
There's some powerhouse cards here. Let's go back and start over, shall we? Or did you have anything else?
No, I said what I said.
Okay. So there's stagnation. There is potentially death or loss of life. There is no movement on something. Things seem stuck. And it's largely because there may be, in these instances that this could relate to, it's because people or leaders even are unwilling to change, unwilling to give.
The actual meaning of this card can include political inertia, and that's the inability to serve the people, and that's what government should be doing.
We feel here that the people in the world, now that I'm thinking about it, feel that our leaders are out of control. A lot of our leaders are out of control. And, no matter whether you're left, right in the world, whatever political persuasion you are, or if you don't care, it doesn't matter. Because it seems like everybody feels that way about their leaders right now. That they're not behaving right. They're not And there's a loss of control over things. Or maybe people also feel they have no control over things. Think about in some countries how they suppress, or, how elections are rigged. And, so people sometimes feel they have no recourse.
It's the emperor has no clothes writ large, and that emperors are not listening to the people who normally would advise them, and or the advisors themselves are possibly duplicitous.
So are our feelings justified? Well, I don't know. I want to think about this one a little bit more, and what I would say is yes and no. I think here that everybody wants to get more aggressive in trying to figure out what's wrong here. Or maybe it's say people are tired of the aggressive behavior, the warlike mentalities that are going on in the world. And that even goes with the protest movement, because in some cases the protesters are saying death to Israel, genocide, all of this stuff, final solution, really horrible things. So I think there's a large contingent of people who are feeling justified that things are getting really out of hand and too aggressive.
Maybe the justified feeling is give peace a chance. That the feeling is that we're not really trying hard enough to bring some peaceful solution here.
So this could be about trying to, be more assertive in promoting peace. I could see that. Yeah, absolutely. And how can you turn that frown upside down? Well, it's time for people to come more together in a spirit of cooperation, not in a spirit of antagonism. I mean, we can shout in people's faces all we want, that we want, Israel out of Palestine, that we want the permanent state there and whatnot. But we have to sit down ultimately and come up with the solutions, not just shout at one another on either side of this.
It sounds to me like it's about saying if you want to come in out of the cold to the lit table, you have to realize that everybody has a place there. Everybody has something to say.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Nice ending. Well, wow. Woo. Wonder what's going to happen in the weeks ahead. So with the world.
And there's so much going on even now that you just know this reading really does have some juice behind it.
So just as a reminder, we do this reading at the fourth quarter moon, and we will do the next one at the next fourth quarter moon, which is about a month, 3 or 4 weeks away, right, Mr. O?
Yes.
So until then, hang in there, everybody. We'll see you again for another episode of the Unhappy Hour. Take care and try very hard to turn those frowns upside down. Bly says you can do it. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.